Hey girl, welcome to the Black Girl Voices podcast. I'm Shivaun,
And I'm Whitney.
and every week we get together to laugh, cry, shade, and share everything from pop culture to racism.
So grab your headphones and your oversized mug and come and join the conversation.
Welcome back, Black Girl Voices, friends, family, all of it.
Hey, y'all.
All of it. I can barely talk because we have so much exciting things to share. Some you've probably already seen. But just life is just very exciting right now.
Feels a little beautiful.
How are you?
Me?
Let's start there. Let's start with our check-ins. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm navigating winter and the cold of it all. Being a person who has ancestry from a warm climate, so
Where is that from?
girl, no, I'm talking about enslavement.
Oh, I should have known. I don't even know why I find it like that.
I'm like, why am I here? Like, I only feel like myself in the summertime.
No, seriously. And then on top of that, my mom, born and raised in the Caribbean, born in St. Kitts, raised in St. Thomas.
Yeah.
I lived in St. Thomas till I was 4. And so girl. I do just always feel drawn to the heat, the beach, all of that. And I feel so sad when we're in this weather.
It's like, I see why people left those rocks and decided to travel.
Yeah, I see why they try to colonize all of our lands.
I see why. There was other things we could do. There's other things we could do. Anyway, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing
Yeah, you
really
are.
Well. Yes, I'm doing
I'm
a ball of excitement. I obviously want to share the good because I believe they will have listened to that episode. Yeah, I think we lined it up so that episode was first because we talked about some Black history facts. But in the last episode that we recorded, Whitney and I were talking about Angela Davis.
We were.
And she said she had met her before. And I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. Like, I really want to meet her because I had missed an opportunity to meet her a while ago when she came into DC. Okay, we said that. And then Whitney very specifically said, it's going to happen for you. You're going to meet her. We're going to claim that for you. Mm-hmm. And I said, I receive it. Okay. We also talked about the power of prayer in that episode, too.
We sure did. We talked about
manifestation. Yes. So, all right. We got off the call. I wrote in my prayer journal, I was doing my Bible stuff and wrote in my prayer journal. And one of the things I was like, I want to manifest those opportunities for me in spaces for me to grow and things that are going to fuel me and refresh me. Okay. I didn't even specifically write Angela Davis because we had claimed that out loud already. All right. So yesterday I'm on Instagram and I see the restaurant that I think we talked about that restaurant too. Busboys and Poets, y'all. They follow them on Instagram because they do a lot of activist stuff. But
yes.
Said they were hosting a conversation with Angela Davis about Palestine because they're doing a week of Palestine at the restaurant. And I was like, I'm going to go.
You did.
All right, cool. Dropped off the kids. Get there. When I tell you the line was wrapped around the building.
Oh, I'm sure.
It looked like people waiting to get into a concert.
Yeah.
And so I didn't say it out loud, but in my mind I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to see her. But I stood out there and I was like, you know what? I'm already here. They have the speakers playing outside so I could hear her. I was like, I'll just listen to her. I can see her from, through the window. I'll take a couple pictures, whatever. So about 5 minutes into her speaking, or there was a speaker before her, into that speaker speaking before her, she, I guess, looks outside and sees the crowd and walks through. This is also how, let me tell you about when you know that you are that girl, right? When you know that you have gone through worse, when you have had the FBI conspiring against you, when you have been in jail, when you have been through the fire, okay, you don't need no security. Because little Miss Davis just comes walking through the crowd by herself. I mean, there was somebody from the restaurant with her, or from the program with her, but just walks through. I mean, there are people crowding her everywhere, trying to get a quick picture. She's stopping to take as many selfies as she can. She was so sweet because she didn't have to do that.
She's so gracious.
Yes. And so she walks by and I was like, can I take a quick selfie? And we got our selfie. I'm like, okay, cool. Never thought I was going to get inside still. So, she goes in, and then me and a group of people, we kind of meet up and like kind of become friends, and we're like just, fangirling and just so excited about being able to meet her, because y'all, the power of her presence, just like you can feel.
When you've been through some stuff, yeah.
You can feel it, which y'all,
Mm-hmm.
like, energy is so real. Like, I could feel everything.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, like, we're all talking about, like, I'm in near tears, okay? This was my Beyonce. Like, I'm in near tears.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, we'll just stand outside and watch her speak. And then we look at each other and we say out loud, "Oh no, we're gonna get in."
Oh yeah, you're getting in.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
later, lady opens the door and says,
Ah!
"I can take 10 people." We happen to be the 10 closest to the door. We get in. We listen to her speak. She does a book signing. I get my book signed. Freedom is a Constant Struggle. If you haven't read, I highly recommend. She
Oh,
talks about Palestine, Ferguson,
yes.
and so much more. Um,
Yes.
but y'all, then I got my book signed, and it came to fruition. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
we said out loud
It was gonna. And
came
it
to.
was gonna.
That is just so, and it's so crazy that even things like that, right? Meeting people that you respect and you honor can just refresh your faith. Because for me, as little as that seems for other people, like, that was a big deal for me.
Mm-hmm.
But even something as little as, oh, I really want to meet this person, for it to happen after it was something that I told God that I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and so quickly, because a lot of times we want
Mm-hmm.
that instant gratification and it never comes. So
Ooh.
our faith drops off. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we can even tie that into activism.
Oh,
Um,
listen. Hello.
but that was almost instant. And that was the first time I think I've seen something happen that instant, because it takes a while.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Our opportunity for our franchise took 3 years.
My
So,
goodness.
you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I, I'm happy for the year.
I'm happy for you. What a way to start. What an entrance
I
into
mean,
your
that
year.
could be the episode. Angela Davis is the episode.
Angela Davis will be a series of episodes.
Angela Davis, I'm going to manifest this. Angela Davis will one day come onto our podcast,
I have to
and we will get
cry
to
for
speak
like an
to her.
hour first before we talk to her.
I will cry for an hour, and I will say, you know what? You just talk. We're just mere peasants, and we're here to listen.
We will listen, and you tell us when we should talk. We're gonna sit at your feet.
Let us know when we can
Listen,
unmute.
listen, because the I love how we venerate our elders. I
Yes.
love veneration. I love for those who are worthy.
Yeah, girl.
Listen, there's a difference between an elder and someone who just got old.
And
Okay.
let some of them stay in the dirt, please.
Shit. I was gonna say all that. Shivaun.
You know I was. Okay. Let them rest in hell, please.
She said, "Rest in piss."
Rest in hell.
But for those who have earned it, like, I just love how we venerate them. I love how we especially the ones that are here. Especially, I'm speaking about. We are intentional about giving them their flowers.
Yeah.
We are intentional about you know affirming their legacies. We are intentional about protecting them and securing them, and saying, like, hey, reaching out to them and saying, hey, you may never read this DM, you may never see this email, you may never see this letter, but
That.
on the just on the happenstance that you do, know that your work matters. So I love that, and I love that for you. I love that you had the opportunity to just not even just get in a room, but get close.
Y'all, that's right. Get close, right? Because I just wanted to be. Look,
You
what
just
did
wanted
they
to be
say
in the
about Jesus?
presence. You
I
said
just want to be in your presence, Lord. I
you
just want to
said
touch
I
your
was
hem.
good outside, and God said I would get you inside. He said I'm good right
Oh,
here. Jesus
Lord,
said I'm gonna get
girl,
you close.
you just sent goosebumps up my spine, because
Mm-hmm.
when we ask God for the minimum, sometimes He will open the door and give us more than what we know what to do with. I told God, I'm good outside. Thank you for getting me outside. And
Say it.
God said, no, sis, you belong on the inside. Oh,
But think about that. Like, you came with a presence of gratitude, not like you were owed something. You came
yes.
with this
I was
presence
just
of,
grateful for God to get me where He got
I'm
me.
glad I'm on the block, Savior.
I'm looking through the window, and I'm fangirling through the window, like, yes, Lord.
I am grateful to just be on the street, Savior.
Mm.
And Jesus said, you know what? I see that. I see that gratitude. I see that. That means something. And I'm going to honor that by not just getting you inside, but getting you close enough for a selfie? A selfie with Angela Davis.
About too how like almost dystopian it felt to be taking a selfie with Angela Davis. Like, this is a selfie. Like, sis,
A selfie.
probably if she could look back in her time and see these pictures, she'd be like, what are they doing with their
Why are
kids?
they doing this with the phones?
Yes, this took like, it was just, and I love that we tied it back into faith, because I really want to use this opportunity just to encourage somebody else that it can happen for you. And it doesn't always happen that quick, right?
It doesn't.
And it doesn't happen on our time, but if God sees it fit for you, it's going to happen for you. And it's going to happen in ways that are better than you even imagined. Oh, Jesus. Why don't we just open up and, Lord, we thank you. We just
listen, whenever he is present, he said wherever 2 or 3 are gathered. So listen.
And that's another thing too. I want to encourage you guys too, to just like the importance of sisterhood. The importance of having those friends who are not just in your corner, but are rooting you on.
Yes.
They're not jealous of you.
Hello,
they're
somebody.
They're not insecure about your successes.
Somebody.
They want to see you do better in ways just as much as you want it for yourself. You need that person who's not just in your corner to root you on, but to pray for you, really.
Hello.
Because like you said, where 2 or more are gathered, and when 2 or more agree.
That agreement is serious. That agreement is serious.
I didn't expect this to take this turn.
Well, it ties into one of my grievances. But I wasn't done with the gratitude yet. Like, I like entering with gratitude and then leading into the grievance.
We need it, because we do be, you know.
Listen. I get it. I get it, because here's the thing about us, Black women specifically. We work so hard. Just in general. Yes. In general, we work so hard. But we also work so hard to create peace for all of us.
Yes.
And it's less of I'm this moral high ground, and I'm the moral voice, and this, that, and third. I need to create peace because I don't want y'all fucking up what's going on with my kid.
That too.
I'm creating peace so I can go outside and mind my own business and not be accosted by people who want my walking papers. It's creating peace so that we can just exist. It's like we roll up our sleeves and do the work because we have to.
Right.
Not because we want to. Like, you could talk to any of us who do this social justice work, and any one of us would have been like, nah, I'd take the peace.
No, that's so real, because even last night I met this amazing girl, and I won't say her name on the podcast because, you know, I don't know if she wants her business out there, but
hey girl.
Right, hey girl, if you're listening,
hey girl,
shout out to you. I had an amazing time. But no, I met her last night, and she does DEI work at a law firm. And she was so tired. Winnie, she was so drained, and she was so discouraged because she believed in the work she did, but not in the capacity that they had her doing it, because it was at a very, very monitored, very placated, very much make sure this is very palatable type DEI work. And to show up already, right, to teach you about our experience, our history, our trauma, all of that, teach you how to be a good human being is exhausting. But now you want me to do it in a way
that's nice.
That is nice and acceptable. Activism isn't nice.
Activism is uncomfortable and painful as you think I want to think about all of the things people like me went through and go through,
right?
And you think
I want to put it out in a way that is
digestible, that's comfy,
non-offensive,
kiss my ass,
right? Right.
Kiss my whole
ass. Work is not meant for you to pull up your Barefoot Dreams blankie and your warm cup of, listen to drink your cup of coffee while you're listening to us.
Oh yeah,
of course. Have your little cup of hot cocoa and paint your
This
nails
is
and
not a
feel
hug.
good.
This
It's
is
not
not
a
a
hug.
hug.
It's
This is
not.
work. This is effort. And it sucks that in order for me to be able to secure safety for my life, I have to placate your feelings. That feels
Mm.
abusive.
Nah, cause fuck y'all though.
That feels big
Fuck y'all.
abusive. That feels like I'm in a toxic ass relationship and I have to make you
We
feel comfy,
are.
so I have to survive. No, that's not the way I want to live. That's not what I want for my daughter. That's not what I want for even your children. I don't want it for you. I don't
Right.
want it for you. I don't want you to live in a world where you think that your feelings have to be placated and others for others to be able to survive. Like, that's sickness. Like, do you hear what that sounds like? That is sickness. That is
What is that TikTok?
inhumane.
That TikTok, it's mental illness, isn't it, love?
Wait, I want to find that.
Isn't it, love?
Isn't it?
It's mental illness. Excuse my British accent. I try.
Oh,
But
I don't ask me to do no accents.
no, listen.
I'm not trying to offend anybody. You hear
Right.
me?
So I apologize to the British community, or maybe I don't. But
Depends on the Brit. Depends
depends
on the
on the Brit.
Brit.
But low key, random. Before you get into your grievance, because I want to hear it. I always have wanted a British accent.
Me too.
I've always wanted a British accent.
Me
So my
too.
mom is from St. Kitts is a British island, so she
Mhm.
never had a British accent. She
Mhm.
had, they spoke broken. Well, they call it broken English. It's not really broken.
I hate that.
It's not really broken.
There's nothing broken about the
You
English
just
that they
call it
speak.
that.
It's a dialect.
Yes.
It's a damn
So
dialect. Like,
exactly.
grow up. Y'all just keep centering y'all damn selves. Broken English.
Broken English because
You know
you
what's
can't
broken about
understand
the
it.
English is because y'all impose that shit on us, okay? That's what's
Mm.
broken about it. The whole damn system is broken. You're broken.
You know what? You need to write down all of the things that we were forced to assimilate into, but because that's a whole episode.
That would be a damn podcast in and of itself. That's a whole
Assimilation.
show.
Whole show. Um, Let me not get off to what's your grievance, girl?
Oh,
Because
we were talking about the people of faith.
the people of faith. Yes.
My grievance is I just saw a video. Leslie Jones, comedian Leslie Jones. She's amazing.
Okay.
I love her. She
Me
shared a
too.
video on her Twitter about it was a legislation situation meeting in Texas. Lady was standing up trying to introduce a bill that would force schools to have the 10 Commandments in them. Y'all know I'm a Christian. Y'all know I'm married to a minister. Y'all know that I myself have attended seminary. You know that I myself used to teach Sunday school.
Did you attend seminary? I did not
For
know
a
that.
little while. It wasn't for
Okay.
long. It was not for long.
It was still some time.
We will talk about that on the Patreon.
Yes.
We will talk about
Yes.
that.
Okay.
We need some
Writing
gates
that
around
down.
that conversation. There needs to be some gates kept.
They kicked Whitney out. They
I
said
left. I packed my shit. I'm sick of this shit. Cussing your way out of a Christian school.
flip the damn table like Jesus. Out of this. Out of this
Bye.
shit.
Oh my God! Wait, Patreon. We'll talk about it on the Patreon.
Please.
But so yeah, I love Jesus. I love Jesus too, right? There is a verse in Matthew that talks about when you pray, don't do it like the people you see in the streets do it. They're doing it for attention. But
Yes.
you go in the closet, and there's a reason why I'm saying this quietly because I need y'all to come in close. I promise I won't yell. You go in the closet and you pray to your God in secret. And your God in
Mm.
secret, who hears your prayers, will hear you. I'm paraphrasing. There's a reason why Jesus told us that. He said, I don't need y'all to have all these flashy, exorbitant, expensive, or forceful displays
Yes.
of faith.
Yes. Because
Real
that,
faith.
if you really love God, you be up on your feet clapping and stop. Well, dang, can I love God in my seat?
You can. In fact, you can. In fact, Jesus is sitting there somewhere with his hands on his hips, talking about.
Now
That's
you
not
know,
what I said.
Sister Magdalene catch the Holy Ghost every Sunday.
Listen, that's her business. I don't know what she's been through, but as far as me, some of us have a quieter worship, but that's
Yes.
another topic. What I'm referring to here is the need to push Christianity on people,
Yes.
the forcing of a faith that you may even have, like me, I'm a Christian, and I find
Right.
it offensive to have the
Yes.
10 Commandments displayed anywhere. First of all, idolatry.
Mm.
Idolatry. We're not supposed to worship them damn commandments. That I'm not damn, Lord, forgive me. But he knows what I meant. He knows my heart. Savior God. But we're not supposed to worship those things. We're not supposed to make idols. We're not supposed to make graven images. That's not what we're supposed to do. Those are
Right.
principles for how we're supposed to live our lives because we have accepted that faith. But there's also another commandment. The next commandment that I give you, love the Lord your God with all your being, and then love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that
That
fulfills
one.
the commandments. That fulfills all of them. All of
Yes.
them. All of them. So how would
That's
it
the one they
look?
forget.
How would it look to my Muslim neighbor, my Jewish neighbor, my
Mm.
Buddhist neighbor, my Hindu neighbor, my atheist neighbor, my questioning neighbor, to force my faith? Any faith that you have to force is dead. And my God is alive. So I
Y'all
don't have
probably
to.
can't hear these
Hey,
snaps.
I can. You hear it? I hear it. Yes, the
Hold on, I
snaps
should
have
have found
entered
the.
the.
Look, ready? Did it play? No.
I
Okay.
didn't hear anything.
Okay. You know what?
It's okay, friend.
I was trying to play clapping noises, but
No, no, no,
y'all,
it's fine.
we're doing the best we can
We're
here.
doing the best we
Okay.
can with what we have, guys. I love it. But like that's that. So watching the watching the legislative meeting go on, I forget who the gentleman was who was saying these things, and I was really proud of him for saying that. He's like, I'm a believer and I love Jesus too, but it does not show his love for us to force our faith upon people. And they're like, well, they did a big disservice to the children in 1980s when they took the praying and stuff like that out of schools. I was like, well, here's the thing about that. It acknowledges that there's other people outside of Christians.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Blows your mind, right? So how would it look if your child was in a public school? How would you feel if they started putting up Muslim tenets? How would you feel if they started putting up Buddhist tenets or Hindu
Yeah.
tenets? How would you feel about that? So you know the discomfort that you feel, which I hope is not based on any bigotry, which I hope is not based on any bigotry, because that just illuminated some work that you need to do. Um, take that free. You don't even have.
Process it.
Okay,
Sit with
write that
it.
down. There's a journal for that.
Right. Don't
Um,
comment on what
please
you just
don't.
heard angrily.
Don't.
Okay. Put it in your journal.
No. That's a personal issue. You don't come into. That's another grievance. I'm coming. I'm coming
Ooh,
fast.
child.
I'm coming fast for that one. That's the next one. But yeah, I was just I want us to stop doing this, because I'm going to be the Christian. I'm going to be the minister's wife. I'm going to be the person who teaches in Sunday school and reminds y'all every single week that our faith is service based. We're supposed to be out here serving community,
Yes.
serving community, not lording over it.
Right. And
Serving
Jesus
community.
said that church was supposed to happen outside of just the walls of the church. And we forget that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
church is service. Church is
Service.
acts of love.
Work.
Church is,
Mm-hmm.
doing work in underprivileged
Sacrifice.
neighborhoods and sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
and just loving on somebody.
Humility. Intentional chosen humility. Intentionally choosing what would benefit my neighbor who I love.
Yes.
How do I take care of you? How do I take care of this planet? Because God also left us as stewards of this planet. And I don't know if y'all noticed, we're not doing a really good job of this. This poor rock is about to spin so fast it expels us all. And I can't even be mad.
He about to just come pluck. Well, listen. I hope he comes and plucks me. You know that song,
Fast,
"Earth
please.
is ghetto. I wanna leave." I love
See,
that song.
I love that song, but I do love the planet so much. I'm like,
But
I
you know
love it
what?
here. It's beautiful. Don't stop
Beam me up,
polluting.
Scotty.
Only because I want to leave the people. Like, if things
Yes.
were better,
Yes.
like if we actually did the things that like we know to do, like every person in their mind knows that dropping trash on the ground is wrong. Every person
But
in
they
their
still
mind
do it.
knows that being hateful is wrong. It's that is programmed into our being connected into this interweb of creation. We
Mhm.
all know that. It's just people ignore that. This is not new information. My next grievance. I put up a post
Oh God.
about a young man who is unfortunately missing the majority of his junior year in high school because he
Oh,
has
okay. Yes.
locks.
Yes.
And a lady who had been following me for some time, because I've seen her in the comments before, and she's never really said anything crazy. Before this,
No.
she let her bigotry fly. When I tell you she let it fly, I'm not gonna say no names because you got embarrassed enough
Lord.
online. She
Why
came
do
out
they
of
do
here
this
and
to themselves?
she started calling us victims, hair discrimination. She's like, my kids go to a private school and you can't, they don't have any say about their looks. You just kind of have to deal with it. I'm like, but this is happening in a public
Is
school.
she white?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why I asked, but so right, no, listen.
I'm
If
hanging up
you're
on
black,
you.
you already know that when someone tells a story, when we normally don't finish the sentence, we just say "was she,"
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
they
yeah. We just
already
say,
know.
was she? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, your kids don't have any issue because their hair is the standard, bitch. What are
Hello?
we even talking about
That part.
anymore?
We didn't even talk about that part. I didn't even address that.
What are we even talking about?
I went to straight to, well, it's a public school and he's following orders. Like they said they want the boys' hair above their ears. He's has his locks
I saw
braided
it braided up.
above the ears. Like I don't see what the problem is. They just want him to cut them off. And I'm like, and then the man had the audacity to have a full printed ad in the paper talking about conformity is unity. And I'm like, that don't sound like democracy. That sounds like communism. But
That that
we don't have to get into
hello.
all that. We don't have to get into all that. The point was the lady,
I,
she kept calling people, like people were being very gentle at first. At first. No, and I love my community. I love y'all for doing that. Like I love
they
y'all.
do a good job. I will say your comment section is probably one of my favorite places to
No.
be because,
No.
well, one, I always know I'm going to see somebody unhinged, and I don't
Oh.
even bother commenting because, like, I comment my own comment, but I don't bother going back and forth with the trolls in your
No.
comments because I
No.
have to commend Whitney. She's done such a good job creating a gentle space, not placating them,
No.
but creating a gentle space so
Mm-hmm.
that like actual great conversations and productive conversations
It's
are
really
happening.
good in there.
Where I want to say fuck your grandma, you know what I
Listen.
mean? So like I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna comment on this one, but like fuck you and your granny, you
Both
know.
of them.
I'm always coming for the granny.
But she started calling people victims, and that just got under my skin. And so I said, you're calling us victims, but she's like, hair discrimination, that's just made up and stuff like that. I'm like, a Google search would have shown
There's
you
a literal like there's laws.
there's legislation in
There's
multiple states now, honey. Like you're embarrassing yourself. Like just because
so
there
TikTok.
is
You need
so
to
much,
leave.
right? Wait, I need that sound too. You need to leave.
You need to leave. It was like some kind of like town hall or
I
something they were
remember that.
having.
I posted about
Yes,
that.
yes.
The guy was just up there talking about his experience, and no,
She
this bigot behind
was
him
like, you
goes,
need to
"Why don't you go
leave.
back to Mexico?" And you thought that was appropriate to say? You were so comfortable. Wait, I'm sorry. This is just funny to me.
Yeah, we keep getting off on a tangent, but I love it. Okay, this is
This is just so
the
funny
flow
to
of the
me
podcast.
because the man just said it so comfortably, like he was telling you the weather. Why don't you go back to Mexico? I'm like, you bigot, you don't even hear yourself. It wasn't even a problem until all the white people turned around, like, oh, that's when he
Right.
felt like it was a problem. And the
It
lady
was the
goes, you
gas.
need to leave.
He was like, "What do you mean I'm not in community with other big what? Y'all don't all feel like this?"
Yeah, you learned that real hard. Shout out to this is what
Shout out
allyship
to
looks
those
like.
people though.
This is what allyship looks like. You make bigots uncomfortable.
Yes.
Loudly making them uncomfortable. Loudly saying, what do you mean by that? Or looking at them and saying, ooh, you one of the bad ones. That
And
gets in
that
their heart.
includes your mama.
Your granny too. All of them. All of them. Make them uncomfortable.
And your daddies, because y'all got some racist ass daddies.
They're the ones who started the mess.
Right.
The
They're
daddies started
dangerous.
this. Yeah. Yeah, girl. I'm done grieving.
I love
Not
it
grieving.
though. Grieving. I mean, we are grieving.
Why
We
are we
are.
laughing to keep from
We're
crying?
yes, exactly. This is we laugh to keep from crying, y'all.
And do.
We
How
laugh to
about
keep.
you? Who are yelling at?
I'm
Oh
so
no,
unserious.
the
I'm so
smile,
unserious.
the smile.
You always know when I do that smile or I like rub my
Because
head
you
or
looked
eyebrow.
up and then it crested into, and I was like, oh, get your
Mine's
bugs,
very
y'all, get the
unserious though.
bugs.
It's very unserious. Um, I don't think I think about this. This is also maybe a problem, okay? Because I think about this maybe every 1 to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk enough about how disrespectful Toni Braxton was when she said, "Who do you think I am? Didn't you know he was my man?"
Oh, girl.
I was like, do I need to say it in my Toni voice? Who do you think I am?
Good night. That's the end of the Black Girl Voice podcast. Good night. I'm hanging up.
I'm
I'm
so
hanging
unserious.
up.
I'm so sorry. Toni, I love you, girl, but
We
that was
do love
so
you, Toni, but oh
disrespectful.
my God, what were you thinking?
Do you know he begged to stay with me. He wasn't man enough for me. Hello? You
Let him
told that
go.
woman
About her
that
man?
her man really wanted to stay with you, and so don't worry about what she got going on. It was so wildly disrespectful, and we don't talk about this enough.
We never do. I don't think we've ever actually visited this as a culture.
I know, and I think I need somebody to unpack that, like from an academic standpoint.
This is a podcast episode because there's some songs that I too want to talk about.
Girl, that is a podcast. I'm not even gonna say anymore, but I was listening to like a '90s R&B playlist. First of all, let me just tell y'all, I don't know what I was going through in middle school. Okay, but I listened to Toni Braxton's album front to back, cassette tape, mind you. Okay, I'm aging myself, but my dad had the cassette tape,
Nothing
and
wrong
I
with
would
cassette
listen to
tapes.
it and rewind it and listen to it again and rewind it, and I'd memorize the lyrics and I'd be belting them out. And I just remember
That's your business.
one time my dad looking at me like, "What the hell?"
You felt
She's
it. You
well,
felt it in your spirit. Whatever you were
I
feeling, you
did.
felt it. So,
And while we're on the topic of lyrics, really quick,
oh.
in 8th grade, my 8th grade boyfriend broke up with me and played the entire "Let It Burn" song from front to back on my voicemail. And my dumbass sat
No.
there and listened to
No,
it
you
from
didn't.
front to
No,
back.
you did. Don't get off
Yes.
my phone.
While crying.
No, girl.
So, Usher, if you're listening to this, I need reparations.
Not reparations.
I know it
man.
wasn't you, but you created this for him to hurt me with. So, if you're
Not you
listening,
weaponizing his music.
yeah, I am. Full on.
No, ma'am.
Fully.
No,
I'm
ma'am.
playing victim. Playing victim. Where's the old girl in your comments? I am a victim.
Listen, I am the victim. I am the victim.
But I do have exciting news, okay? We posted that link, and I don't even think you know about the news yet. We posted that link, and I've been posting it on stories. It's posted on like the podcast, which all of the episodes by now previously have been archived. So if you're looking for those, they're archived. But in the description of the About podcast, there is a link where you can tell us your grievances, ask for advice,
Please.
whether it be marital advice,
'Cause I wanna
anti-racist
hear.
advice,
I want to hear
relationships, whatever. And somebody wrote in. Someone wrote in.
What? Girl, I want to hear. Put everything down. Wait.
Yes. So you're our first write-in, okay?
Hi.
There is an option to either leave your name or you can put anonymous, and she did leave her name, so I'm going to do my best to make sure I pronounce this correctly. I believe it's Nevaeh, though. It's Naveh. So I think that's Nevaeh. If I mispronounce that, I'm so sorry. She's from Arizona. So hey, Nevaeh from Arizona.
Hey, girl.
She's probably like, you guys.
Why are they yelling at
okay?
me? No, we're not. Have you been listening to this podcast?
Yeah, we're not okay.
We're not
But if you're
okay.
writing in, you probably already know that.
Right.
This and this might be a bigger this could be a bigger topic, but we're gonna do our best to talk, give you pointers and talk about it as best we can in a summarized version. But could we talk about Black women being ostracized at work and dealing with emotionally unavailable people who don't reciprocate in the relationship? So I think there's probably either, so this can go two ways. There's either two parts to that, and she wants to, us to maybe unpack being ostracized at work, which we can definitely do because you and I have been on this topic very heavily lately about Black women and, having to be the pioneers, but then also being ostracized for doing that.
Yeah.
And then she might be talking about the coworkers being emotionally unavailable,
I mean,
and not reciprocating, the energy. Or I feel like this might be two separate, and she wants to talk about emotionally unavailable people who don't reciprocate. So I feel like maybe let's tackle that first one. Let's talk about Black women being ostracized.
where?
Yes, deep breaths.
Where?
Matter of fact, everybody take one deep breath in.
Not a community
One
deep
out.
breath. The communal deep breath. Deep
the communal
Negro spiritual sigh, like Issa Rae said.
Matter of fact, wade in the water.
All right. Good night, you guys. You are singing deep Negro spiritual sighs. Oh, wow, this is
I was
awesome.
trying to help them.
Listen, no, because I'm trying to figure out where to even begin because, like, everything is horrible.
I can start with, first of all, I do want to say, if this is something that is happening to you, I want to sincerely apologize. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're not responsible, but just as a fellow Black girl, like giving a nod to you and like understanding and like letting you know that you are seen and you are felt, and like I'm so sorry that we're even having to have these conversations to begin with.
It's
because
exhausting.
we should just be able to exist.
Point.
But yes, but that is a thing. Whether or not people want to acknowledge the fact that Black people have a very specific role that they are expected to maintain in the workplace, in industries, businesses, brands. And that is to show up, either, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, do the work, and be quiet and be grateful for the pay that you're getting. Be grateful for the role that you're in. Be grateful for the promotion that you're getting, even though you're doing it at the expense of getting paid less than your white colleagues.
Always less.
Yes, and we're as we're talking about white women, you're getting paid less than white men and white women, and taking on double the emotional and the physical labor. Because if we're being honest, we can't just perform well and do well, right?
We have to do our job and go home.
Yes, we have to perform extraordinary to do well.
Excellence.
And I'm excellence and perfection, right? Because I look at it all the time from the Obama standpoint. Whether or not you agree with his politics, whatever, they still knew that they had to walk, talk, act, and be the face of what is, quote unquote, the stereotypical perfect all-American family. No scandals, no marital issues.
They couldn't even smoke.
Right. And he's not even in office.
Right.
And his daughter has a cigarette, and we're like, whoa! But weren't the Bush twins doing coke or something?
Girl, I think they, all kinds of craziness, and now they have like lifestyle lines and nobody cares.
And they knew they had to walk, talk, and act and be perfect in order to just exist somewhat peacefully, right? To somewhat be a representation and to sit in that position.
Right.
But then you had Trump with like 72 baby mamas and 46 children, and I don't even know how many times has he been impeached now? I don't know. Like
just
all of these
of charges against him.
Right. The sexual assault, all of these things that make you less than perfect, but he was able to exist powerfully, and the power that he still holds over people is wild. And it's just, it's so frustrating, but I understand, and it's there, and it's something that needs to be talked about because we are ostracized. You got Claudine Gay, who now all of a sudden we're worried about plagiarism.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden,
I could tell you about all the a good chunk of the time that white people regularly plagiarized against black people, and it didn't matter.
Melania Trump, word for
Whole
word on that
damn
speech.
speech. Friends, okay? Personal beef.
Word
Friends
for word.
versus living single. Kiss
Yes.
my whole ass. Kiss
And it
my
didn't
ass.
do the same. Numbers
No.
wise, money wise, didn't do
No.
the same.
No. No. It was stolen. Like, and it's a known thing now. Like, it's known that Friends was completely stolen. Y'all sitting there. I'm like, I'm sorry, I get so pissed off about that shit.
I
I
don't think it's
refuse.
that good of a show, if we're being honest.
Living Single was like ahead of its time.
I love Living
And it
Single.
was, I watch it now. It's such a good show. It's to this day, it is such a good show. It's not just funny, it's compelling. And it's just like, y'all don't give black stuff the same credit that you give white stuff. So white mediocrity is often rewarded when black excellence is ignored. And it's very
Mm.
frustrating to experience that.
But I think what's more frustrating than that is kind of to her point of being ostracized. It's
Yes.
when you bring those things to the attention, right?
Mm-mm.
Then you're a problem. Then now I'm aggressive at
Oh, yeah,
work.
you're,
I'm hard to
mm-hmm.
work with.
Yeah.
I bring
Code.
problems that aren't there.
Code, you're a black girl in America. You're difficult to
Yes.
work with. You're angry.
Yes. And
You're antisocial.
the tiringness of code switching, even I notice myself
Oh my
when we
god.
go into like corporate spaces and
Mhm.
I'm like around a whole bunch of corporate people and I code switch because I know
Mhm.
who I'm safe around, right?
Mhm.
And I have to code switch. When I leave those areas and I get back to like the hotel or whatever with my husband, when I tell you I'm exhausted, like I'm ready to lay in the
Labor.
bed.
It's labor.
Yes, and non-black people will never understand that.
They will
It is
never
exhausting
never understand that. And
physically.
but also attribute that to your intelligence,
Mm,
because the ability to switch dynamics, dialects and roles that black people have had to do for survival for so long, like, we not only know, we have to know double of everything. So we have to know
right.
our own culture because we live in it, but we also have to know their culture because it's our
That
survival.
that
And
part.
like, that's double. And y'all won't even learn a damn black history fact. Like, y'all won't even learn a quote from Martin Luther King that doesn't color of our
Oh my god.
content of our character
Don't get
bullshit.
me started
I'm
on
like,
the
you
light
start.
drives out the damn light. Okay? We ain't driving out no damn light anymore. Bring on the darkness.
Yes, blackness, please. All the
Blackness.
blackness, the sounds of blackness.
I'm
I'm sorry, I'm
tired.
being stupid.
Tired.
Now I'm just being
But
stupid.
I honestly I wish I had like some concrete advice.
Mm-mm,
I
I
wish I
don't.
could tell you, hey, go where you're wanted and respected, but I also feel like that's a
That's a
privilege.
privilege.
And
Yeah.
people say too easily, like, oh, well, just leave.
How?
We don't know
How,
how long,
girl?
even if we're in professional spaces, we don't know how long it took someone to get there,
Hello?
what they had to struggle through to
Hello?
get there, what,
Wait, but why
and
should we have to leave?
that part. Why do we have to leave? Why do we have to create our own space? It's like
Why?
when we're like, oh, we'll create an all black law firm, but why should I have to?
Why should I have? Thank you. Thank you that. Thank you that. Instead of just being a welcoming and inclusive space that where people who look different can thrive in that environment, why should I have to leave, and why should I have to go do the work of making something new when y'all could just be better? Like, they don't
Girl.
think of that. They don't think of, and it probably blows their mind at the idea of that, oh yeah, we we could try to do better, but no, we'd rather just kick you out. And that's so insidious to say
And
that.
then they do it in such a violent way, right? Like it's not just
Oh, what
it's
happened
never
to.
honest and true. So it's
No.
never just because they can't. That'd be an HR nightmare.
Right.
But it's never like, hey, you're making me uncomfortable, so I think you have to go.
Right.
It's all of a sudden your work isn't up to par.
Right.
Then you're not meeting deadlines. Then you were 2 minutes late 3 times. Then it's all of these things,
You went to the bathroom.
these little aggressions
And which
that
is
add
funny
up.
because it's not there's nothing little about those aggressions. They're all very threatening, and we all know what they mean. Um, yeah, I don't have any concrete advice outside of
I don't.
make
I
sure.
would just say to I don't know if that's a space you can leave, so I'm not going to give you that advice. But what
No.
I will say is prioritize your peace
That part. That part.
outside of work. If this is not work if it's not your own business anyway, you shouldn't be taking it home. Or if you're not like a lawyer in like someone's life, or freedom isn't in your
No,
hands,
girl. Log off.
log off, clock out, and clock out mentally as well.
Mentally.
Because you
Yep.
don't owe them your time when you're not getting paid for it.
That part. That part.
That part. And
That
then,
part.
okay, so to quickly address your other part, emotionally unavailable people who don't reciprocate the relationship.
Is that like, does she mean like write us back because I need to know
I'm going to talk about it.
specifics.
So you can definitely write back, Nevaeh, and clarify, but I'm going to assume this is from like just relationships with people in general, not necessarily work. What I will say is I think a lot of times we get into whether this is romantic or not, we get into our own heads about how we think other people feel when sometimes all it takes is a conversation, right?
Just a chat.
If you feel like someone isn't giving you the emotional energy and isn't emotionally available to you, have the conversation.
Just talk.
Tell them how you feel. Tell them what you would like for them to do more of and to give you more of. Lay it out clearly, okay? Don't put up your boundaries, lay it out clearly, don't sugarcoat it, don't hold back. You can do all of this in a respectful way. And then if they don't reciprocate, then maybe that relationship is not for you. And this, I don't care if it's a family member, a friend, or a lover, because I think a lot of times, especially in the Black community, we hold ourselves to the chains of, well, they're family. Family can still catch the smoke as well.
And will.
Yeah, we've got to let go of that loyalty.
That whole blood is thicker than water thing is not.
It's not.
It's not. No, not when it comes to abuse. Not when it comes to emotional neglect. Not when it comes to trauma. Absolutely not. I'll give up that blood right quick and run to water. You hear me?
Right.
Sometimes the family is the family God gives you through birth, and sometimes the family is the family God gives you through creation. You create your family.
I love that.
And so like I do not espouse to that. I do not hold to that. And I've made that very clear in a lot of my relationships. I'm like, look, you may be blood by relative, like we're relatives, but I wouldn't call us family. I've seen more family relationships in my girlfriends.
Yes.
That we just know, we don't even have to throw up the bat signal. We just know, like, I haven't heard from you in 2 days. I'm coming over.
Check in.
I'm coming over. Like, I know you. Like my line sisters, we've been friends for almost 18 years. If we haven't heard from each other, everybody's dropping in the chat. Hey, because we're all across the nation. Hey, you good? How did that presentation go? You ain't updated by it. What that dress look like that you just bought? Like, let's see it. Like,
right.
Spark up something. Make sure people are okay. But I think,
and also consider what season they're in too, because I know that when I was in Michigan after having my son, I was depressed. I was going through postpartum depression. Like, I was deep in depression.
And that's so real.
And so I wasn't emotionally available. But
that's different though.
Yes, had a friend checked in or like asked me, I was open with them about it. Like, hey, like I'm really struggling right now. So they knew I wasn't emotionally available, which is why it's important to have honesty in those relationships. So if I have a friend who like is going through something and I know that, that's one thing. But if this person is just like not reciprocating that energy just because they don't want to, after you've had the conversation, then that's not it for you, because life is too short to be pouring into people who won't pour back.
What did Lauryn Hill say? Reciprocity.
This is a singing episode.
This is the music episode, apparently.
The artists are going to be coming for us with a cease and desist
after they hear this. I only said one word. Don't be mad at me, girl. No. And you only sang Wade in the Water. We're okay. Tony's fine.
I only sang Wade in the Water.
Tony's fine.
Oh, and Tony. But
no,
it's okay,
but
Tony.
I think that with both of these questions that you have, my friend Nevaeh, create community for yourself. I think that you're going to have to find your safe space. It sounds like you're going to have to find your safe space outside of work, because if you're feeling ostracized, see, I feel a lot of ways because I'm a chronic overthinker. And one thing I'm asking myself, like, okay, how have I cultivated community where people don't feel that I'm presenting community to them that's
Mm-hmm.
black, white, or indifferent? Like, it's just like, how am I being a friendly person to work with at work? Because some people are just, I'm
Girl,
not saying Nevaeh, I'm not
no,
saying
no,
that's true of
no.
you. What I'm
But
saying is,
the pastor accidentally dragged me on Sunday because he
oh no,
said it was in love. It was a drag in love. It wasn't one
oh,
of those shameful drags.
it's like I'm gonna
But
hold your
he
hand.
he he dragged me and didn't know. He said something along the lines of, if your goal is to have more friends, then be friendly.
Yeah, isn't that
And I
crazy?
was like,
Isn't
oh
that
shit.
crazy?
It's like, because I'm not saying I'm not friendly, but I'm not the type to go out of my way to make new friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, oh, I want to create more of a community. And then he was like,
Now,
well, how?
now she says this. She says this. Now, mind you, like we knew each other online, but we hadn't had a conversation before. Now she says this. Now I'm dragging her now because she says
There
this,
she
and then
goes.
she approached me. What, 2.5 months ago? And
Yeah,
we've been talking like we girlfriends. Like you would have thought we've
you're
been
right.
friends all our lives. Do you hear us kikiing on this daggone
Listen,
show? We had never had a personal damn conversation
I
before
know.
this. You are friendly.
Actually, y'all, we're about to meet for the first
The
time.
very first time
Yeah, we're about to meet for the first time
in
this
person.
Saturday, the 27th, in
Mm-hmm.
person for
In
our
person.
podcast image.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm friendly.
You
It's just
are. You're doing
making
a
that
great
initial
job.
connection. I get so intimidated, and which is weird because I'm not an intimidated
You're
person.
not. That's so straight because,
It's
but it's so.
wild.
It was like the most natural thing until you told me how nervous you were because it was like, hey girl, I see we're aligned.
Listen,
You want to
my
podcast together? And I'm
husband was
like, yeah,
like,
girl.
I was like, I really want to, partner together. Da, da, da. And Whitney was like, of course. And I was like, I was so nervous to ask you. And she was like, why? And I was
Why?
like, dang, because I was telling my husband, oh, I really want to, partner with Whitney and da, da, da. And he was like, okay, ask her. And I was like,
Right.
oh, I'm nervous. And he was like, is she mean? Like, why? And I was like,
Is
no, she's
she
really
me?
nice. She's really nice. And then he was like, okay, so I'm not seeing the issue.
He's like, what's the problem? She's right there. Just tap her on the shoulder.
Right.
But think about like how we've been programmed in our individualistic like lives to not
Individualism.
I promise you I can find so many things with all of that being wrong. But like in community, think about how children find friends. Like they literally just go to the park and like,
Girl,
hey, you like to swing, I like to swing. Let's all
don't
swing
even know their
together.
names.
We'll leave.
They don't even be knowing
They
their
are
names.
they are best friends by the end of the time. You get in the car like, hey, what was your friend's name? I don't know.
That drives me crazy with Clifton. I'll be like, did you have fun with your friend? Yeah. What's the friend's name?
Oh. It's because it doesn't matter to them.
Yes, and I love that.
They're just so free. They're just so free and they don't care. It's like, hey, you like sand? I like sand. Let's build this sand together.
Let's throw it in our hair so our moms can wash it
Let's
out.
roll around in it. God, it's
Start
great.
me on that.
It's great having a girl, I gotta say. She don't like to be messy. Whoo.
Clifton doesn't like to be messy, but still finds a way to become messy.
I mean, that's children in general.
Like, he doesn't like stuff on his hands. Like, he'll be like,
yeah.
I have to wash it off immediately.
Yeah, like she'll get she's okay with like art, so like paint, glue, all that stuff like that, and we just have a ball. But as soon as it's like, okay, I'm gonna put it up, she's like, all right. She walks her little self to the sink.
I'm done.
Climbs up on the step stool.
We're done here.
I'm finished. I've created the things I need to. Let me get this soap and water, which it's lovely having a girl, like a very independent little girl. She's 3 years old. You think she's 30.
She runs the house. I love that, though.
We work for her. She called us the butlers the other day.
It's hard now, but that's the kind of little girl, especially a black little girl, that you have to raise. And girl,
oh yeah.
I'm gonna save it, but we got to talk about that the TikTok with the black adopted baby. We're not gonna talk about it now.
Not now.
I'm actually gonna close. We're gonna close this episode, y'all. If you take away anything, find community.
Yes.
Okay. Have conversations.
Be brave.
Be brave and have faith, right? Because God will open up doors that you did not know that you wanted to be inside of.
Hello.
So subscribe to Patreon.
Please and thank you.
Subscribe to the Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon.
There's gonna be tea in there.
No, honestly, like for real, like we're having a lot of fun. So I'm so
we
sorry for
playing out
those.
here. We're having
Right.
serious conversations over there.
What's that? How you gonna hate from outside of the club? You can't
You
even
can't
get in.
get in, but you
Yeah,
can get in.
you
Just
can get in
subscribe.
though. You can. You gotta
Just
pay that
subscribe,
fee.
girl.
But come on in.
Come on in here.
All right, guys, we will talk with you next week and enjoy the rest of your week. Be blessed and be safe.